here's Brody Brazil.
This is one of those things in life that's not exactly a surprise to us. I mean, we've known about this for quite some time, and it's been circled on our calendars for a long while now. But now that we're actually here, now that it's actually real, it's starting to feel and hit a whole lot different, more tangible, more heavy, more special, that number 19 is officially going up into the rafters of SAP Center to honor the great career of Sharks legend Jumbo Joe Thornton. And so up there at the tank, you're going to have Marleau and Thornton side by side, 12 and 19 together, and probably with some others, but for the eternity of Sharks hockey in San Jose. That's going to live past all of us. You realize that, right? How special is that? I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the visuals of what this is about to be like. And so Joe Thornton obviously deserves this, just like Patrick Marleau did. I mean, Mr. Shark, drafted by San Jose, he gets to go first. But Joe Thornton is the perfect person to accompany him up there. The career of Jumbo looks like this: 1,714 NHL games, 130 more in the playoffs. That's basically another whole season and a half of hockey in the postseason alone. 24 total NHL seasons. He got in the league when he was a teenager, and he played his last game when he was in his early 40s. He won Olympic gold in 2010 with Team Canada up in Vancouver. He ends the NHL career with 430 goals, 1,109 assists, and 1,539 total points. In 05-06, he won the Hart, and he won the Art Ross Trophy. That was the same season he came over from the Boston Bruins. I mean, talk about a franchise-changing trade that was for the Sharks. And next year, 2025, he'll be a candidate for the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Now, as much as I can't wait to see his speech with number 19 going up, I also know this is going to take place, and I can't wait to see his Hockey Hall of Fame speech as well, too. It's pretty much a given. Jumbo ends up 14th all-time in total NHL points, 7th all-time in helpers, and 6th all-time in total NHL games played. Now, nobody's asking me to give a speech at the Joe Thornton jersey retirement ceremony, obviously, but I did want to share some stories from along the way of following him, covering him, and knowing him just a little bit. And number one brings some humor. This is when he defended Tomas Hertl. After Hertl was a rookie, I think it was game 2 or 3 of his NHL career, he scored 4 goals, including that 4th one famously between the legs. Sharks go up on a road trip to Vancouver a couple days later. Inside the dressing room, Vancouver media is actually interviewing Patrick Marleau. They say, "Do you think going between the legs for your 4th goal is showing off, if it's showboating?" And Jumbo from across the room wasn't even being talked to or asked a question here. He decided to jump in the conversation and defend Tomas Hertl, as well as take the weight off Patrick Marleau in any response he was about to give. We all know what Jumbo said. You know what I would do if I scored 4 goals? I would, look that one up on the internet for yourself if you don't actually know. But I know you know. And just the fact that Jumbo would be a person, and I know it came with some NSFW language and context, but just the fact that Jumbo would take the heat off one of his teammates and also a rookie teammate, put the attention on him to draw it away from other people. I think defending Tomas Hertl was a prime example of who Joe Thornton was as a Sharks teammate. Why is he holding that rooster right there? Again, look that one up for yourself. Jumbo also has a good and huge heart. He did so many charitable things. I don't have time to spell out all of them, but this is a photo I took. I was right there when this happened. Mid-2010s, that's Sam Tageson in the teal jersey right there. It was a Make-A-Wish situation. He got to be a Shark for a day, signed a contract, got to be in the dressing room before the game. This was from morning skate. And Joe Thornton was out there practicing for a while. Joe Thornton also decided to not come off the ice and go straight into the room. Joe Thornton decided to have a seat on the Sharks bench at the tank and have a quick chat with Sam. That just goes to show you, he could have taken the easy way out. He didn't have to do this. He was one of the leaders of the team at this point. Always was, but certainly a high-profile player doing something like this and always doing things like this. There's a lot of things we saw publicly that he did, but for every one of those things we knew about, there were also several things behind the scenes that nobody ever heard about that he was doing to be a good and kind human being. That's Joe Thornton. It's also a person who really liked wearing their birthday suit. I mean, we know in Sharks hockey, there's a tradition of wearing suits. Randy and Drew, ask them. They're all about nice suits. Joe Thornton is about the birthday suit. That's me and Curtis. I think that was at Madison Square Garden. It was on a road trip in 2016. I've done videos about this. I've talked about this before. We said, hey, Jumbo, can we interview you after morning skate? Yeah, let's do it right now. I'm like, okay. Well, take a second. Get some clothes on. Do what you need to do. No, well, right now. Okay. He sits down. He's not wearing anything. He puts his bag of laundry over his lap at least. We say, okay, let's do this. Oh, he forgot something. Okay, we'll pause. Oh, he's going to put a shirt on. He's going to put some pants on. Whew. We avoided it. No, we didn't. He just forgot his hat. Went up, grabbed his hat, put his hat on, and then sat back down and did this nude interview with us. Joe Thornton just loved being naked. And the body issue was part of that. You probably saw in the thumbnail or the cover slide of this video, the body issue photo shoot that he did with Brent Burns. They only wanted to do it together. Joe Thornton just liked not having clothes on as a hockey player. So I don't know what that's worth, but that's part of the equation of Joe Thornton. He was also somebody who was for the boys. Everything was for the boys. Hey, for the boys, hey? It's my impersonation. This was after one of the Sharks' seasons ended. And normally, teams and players, maybe after the regular season and the playoffs, they all tend to go their separate ways, right? It's family time, it's decompression time, it's all the above. Joe Thornton was somebody who always organized and was a part of team trips during all-star breaks when there was free time or after this season ended. I mean, look at the back. There's Joe Pavelski, there's Martin Jones, there's Barclay Goodrow, there's Logan, there's Jumbo, Evander Kane in the front with Radim Šimek and Aaron Dell. Why did those three get to have to cram in the row together? Joe Pavelski and Martin Jones are in the back, two people in a three-seat situation. Anyway, I think they were going to Las Vegas maybe to celebrate the season, but this just goes to show you the type of guy Jumbo was. Even though he had a family, even though he had obligations, he still loved his teammates. In fact, I don't know of another athlete that I've ever been around, covered, or heard about that loved their teammates as much as Joe Thornton did, and especially with the San Jose Sharks. Jumbo was always about his teammates, and sure, a lot of times being the center of attention, but usually to help deflect it away from his fellow teammates and always thinking about them first. How about the scrap he had with Nazem Kadri up in Toronto? I think this was also in the 2016 season. Was it at center ice on the draw? And then all of a sudden they're going right at it. Kadri actually ripped out a piece. You can see it right there with the arrow. Ripped out a piece of Jumbo's beard. There it is circled on the ground. And Timo Meyer's probably looking at it going, what is that clump of hair? That was straight from Jumbo's beard. Now, why am I sharing this one? Well, because the beard was pretty special in the later years, but it just goes to show like the toughness of Joe Thornton. Had part of his beard ripped out. He played a lot of games with broken fingers, dislocated shoulders. I don't know how much I'm allowed to share. And I knew a lot of things back then that he was going through that the general fan base had no idea about. Joe played through a lot. I just wanted to point this one out because it was very visual. How many people ever get part of their beard ripped out during a game or a situation or whatever? But that one's going to go down in infamy, like famous for a bad reason. And staying with San Jose, I mean, Joe Thornton, after his playing days were done, could have done anything. Didn't have to come back to California. Didn't have to come back and keep the house in California. Didn't have to start hanging around the San Jose Sharks. And Patrick Marleau kind of did the same thing. Joe Thornton's not really from the Bay Area, lived a lot of years here, but the fact that he is latching on here is so special. And by the way, this photo of him breaking down in tears, look at the emotions on his face. This was never something we saw as a player. He was so even-keeled. He was so straight-faced on the ice. This was from the Patrick Marleau jersey retirement night. Jumbo was very emotional for that. So I can't wait to see how he is when it's his own name and his own number ascending to the rafters. This was just special, right? Like this right here. This proves what the Sharks mean to Joe Thornton. I mean, Joe Thornton meant a lot to the Sharks, and Joe Thornton means a lot to the fan base. But this shows you what the Sharks mean and the teammates of the Sharks and the legacy of the Sharks. This shows you what it means to Joe Thornton right there. And I'll take it even one step further. Like Joe Thornton is not only around Joe Thornton and his family are housing Macklin Celebrini. You talk about giving back and continuing to be part of the Sharks community and process and future. Like Joe Thornton, he doesn't have to do this. He didn't have to take on the #1 overall draft pick. And by the way, Will Smith is also living with the Marlowe family. But Macklin Celebrini living at Joe Thornton's house, kind of like a billet situation for his NHL rookie season. The fact that Jumbo is doing this well after playing an NHL game doesn't have to be. I'm not saying Macklin's any inconvenience, right? Probably not at all. He probably loves having another, young, fun hockey player around the house, and it's like another child. But the point, and Macklin could be Jumbo's child, but the point is, like, he doesn't have to do this, but he's doing this. That's how special. I'm trying to paint the picture here of who Joe Thornton is and why it's so awesome that 19 is going to the rafters. Top left, I think that was from a holiday video shoot. Bottom left, yeah, the ESPN, the body issue. Top right, Jumbo and Slappy. Remember those commercials? There's Jumbo right after he got drafted #1 overall by the Boston Bruins. And Patty was right behind him, #2 in the 97 draft, went to San Jose. And the picture in the middle is one I actually took of him during a routine Sharks media day, maybe late 2010s. I don't know what year. But just like the look on his face right there. I don't even know what was said or why he was smiling. But that's just like, that was if you say Sharks hockey to Joe or anything about hockey to Joe, that's exactly the facial expression you'll always get. So congratulations to Joe Thornton. I felt like just adding those perspectives, as much as you're going to hear about the greatness and his ability to pass the puck to teammates on the ice and be a great leader, all those things, those are all documented. Those are all guaranteed. I wanted to try and go the extra mile and tell you the human side of this, of why tonight is so special and why 19 up there is always such a deserving thing. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. Thumbs up down below greatly helps me, this video, and this channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe down below as well, and that way I can definitely see you back here next time.